If you're someone that feels that your anger is capable of getting the best of you at times, I'm going to share with you some things that I've learned over time. The reason why I was inspired to make this video is because I was at a restaurant today, a place I frequent, and someone I recognized was sitting to my right, and someone I recognized was sitting to my left. And there was a girl right beside me. And, we were talking, and the next thing I know, these two individuals, it went from everyone's having a good time to death threats. And, me doing my best to break up these guys, grabbing them both and being like, let's just chill and let's just have a good time. But, it got to the point where the cops were called and, things got out of hand. First of all, I was growing up in elementary school and high school. I was severely picked on, to say the least. Just had people come up, punch me in the face for no reason, make fun of my name, my appearance, all these kind of things. And when I got to about the age of 20, I started working out, I started watching UFC, and I also had a bit of an anger issue. And when another guy would say something disrespectful to me, my number one favorite way to deal with that issue when I was in my 20s was to, give them a right hook to the jaw if they were willing to throw the first punch, which I would usually try to entice. And one thing that I've found when it comes to, if you are, let's just say an individual, I was going to say a guy, but if, anyone, if you're a person whose anger, gets the best of you, what you need to understand is that there's an inner child within you. There's a part of you that was so hurt, that's so devastated, that was so done with being picked on, bullied, just disrespected. There's an altercation and you feel that anger to just, hit someone or take out your frustration in a physical way. You need to understand that that rage is not actually stemming from the situation at hand. I know that can sound a little trippy at first. Yes, to some degree it is, but when that energy, when that rage escalates to the point where you actually want to hurt someone, it's actually stemming from your past, your unhealed childhood trauma. So once you become aware of that, then what? What do you do with that? That's where I was. In 2013, I lost my mom to cancer. I had a spiritual awakening and it made me realize that, I spent the last 15 years of my life being an alcoholic, drowning out a reality that I didn't like. I realized I had a Jetwick temper that I felt like I couldn't control. And I was like, well, I can't heal from all this shit. And I don't like this reality now that my mom's gone. And so 14 months later, I eventually decided to try to exit this reality on my own accord. And if it wasn't for Archangel Michael appearing, I wouldn't be here. And I found myself on a healing journey that I thought was impossible. I was like, well, now that's not an option. I guess I have nothing left to do but heal, even though I didn't believe in it. And I will say this to anyone out there that feels like their anger is capable of getting the best of them at times. The number one solution to that is meditating. When you are capable of intentionally calming down your nervous system and calming your mind and relaxing that energy, okay, that gives you superpowers. I remember in 2015, I started meditating all the time. And then one day I came home from the road. I was, on site in a remote place for a month. I come home, I sit down, and the first thing that I find myself dealing with is my son at the time took his diaper off, and it was it was a full load. And let's just say he decided to paint murals on the wall. And this was, just after I got home. I was driving for 12 hours in the vehicle. I look over and I realize I have this mural that I now had to clean up. Since I had been into meditation at the time, it gave me a moment of opportunity to think. I was like, okay, I have two options here. I can clean it up while I'm freaking out, or I can just accept that this is the mural that's now on my wall that my boy painted, and I have to clean it up. So I can clean it up with a smile on my face, or I can clean it up while I'm freaking out. I guess I could have left it there, but that wasn't really an option. But if you're if you're an individual out there that feels like your anger can get the best of you at times, just understand, learn to meditate and calm yourself down and understand that there's a past version of you that's still traumatized from all the shit you went through. So what do you do knowing that? First of all, understand time and space is an illusion. That version of you is still continuing, is still existing in a reality that is affecting you right now. So what you can do is a technique I like to call be your own angel. Go back in time, visualize all the times you went through, let's just say BS, hard times that put you through the ringer. Go back to that younger version of you and wrap your arms around it and give it a hug and say what you would say now. Say what you would want to know back then. You know, maybe you're going through some crazy shit because of the caretakers that, you know, have put you through. Go back in time and tell yourself, that younger version of you, you know, it's not your fault. They were operating from, you know, the highest level of their consciousness at the time. And then it is what it is, and come to accept it. Visit all the times you felt disrespected, traumatized, anything that's leading to your anger problems now, and heal it. One thing that I've learned is it takes a bigger man to walk away from a situation than it does to give into your rage and give someone a left and a right. If someone blatantly disrespects you and you can just walk away and keep your cool and just know that, you know, what they're saying is coming out of their behind doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, that's real power. And this is something I've had to learn the hard way. But it doesn't matter how many times you fail as long as you succeed, right? And this is something that I've learned the hard way, but I learned it. If you're an individual controlled by your rage, just know that it is possible to change the person that you are. I thought it was impossible at one point. I've proved that to be wrong. You can change. It starts with you. It starts with the willpower. Start meditating, start healing, start understanding why you are the way you are.